Following the smart money and betting on smart founders. This is really the premise. In any bear market, you really have to look at where are the big VCs investing in. In preparation for this video, we scanned a lot of VCs, some of the biggest VCs in the space that have the highest reputation, that have been around for the longest, to see what are they investing in right now and what are they betting on specifically in the Cosmos ecosystem. First things first, what is a VC actually? A VC stands for venture capital, and they're basically firms that invest in early stage crypto projects. In most cases, however, the big VCs, at least the ones that have high reputation and high profiles, they're not only providing monetary support, they're also providing strategic support. What does that mean? That means they will introduce their portfolio projects to other investors, to exchanges, to other builders, or even facilitate the onboarding of applications onto that network. For example, Delphi Digital is a VC firm, but they also incubate projects like Mars Protocol or Astroport. So when they invested in Neutron, which is a smart contract platform that is secured by Atom, they also helped to deploy Astroport and Mars Protocol on Neutron, which directly adds value to Neutron. And also they can help a lot with branding, marketing, and also overall just making introductions and also just adding credibility and legitimacy to a projects. For example, if there's a project that's backed by A16Z or Coinbase Ventures or Jump Crypto, you will be hyped about it. You will think that this is going to be the next big thing and it will be successful because these VCs have been affiliated to a lot of successful projects in the past, and they also have a lot of skin in the game. Talking specifically about Jump Crypto, what they've actually done as an example for Solana, they have built Firedancer, which is a new validator client for Solana that would increase throughput and reliability of the network. So you can even see VCs going as far as contributing software or upstreaming code, which is really, really cool and a massive value add to the project that they're investing in. Now let's talk more specifically about the top VCs in crypto and what they have invested in 2023 and what they're betting on for 2024. And this is for the entire crypto market before we talk about Cosmos specifically. Coinbase Ventures in the past 2 years has been the most active VC firm in crypto with 62 deals. And the most lead investments were conducted by Polychain Capital and A16Z. We can also see that Binance Labs has done 42 investments and also a lot of lead investments. What you can also see here is that basically since the bear market started, we have seen investment really drying out, which means two things. Number one, less fresh capital is entering the market. And two, the due diligence process for VC firms is actually much higher right now. Now let's look into specific crypto projects that have received the most amount of VC money in the past year. The two projects that actually have raised the most amount of money in 2023 are Layer 0 and WorldCoin. Layer 0 is actually not just a blockchain bridge, but it is an interoperability protocol that lets one chain interact with smart contracts on another chain. They just closed a $120 million funding round in April, and their bridging protocol called Stargate Finance has the highest amounts of monthly bridging volume, reaching $3.4 billion in July alone. Second after that is actually Cosmos IBC. WorldCoin is the second project, and WorldCoin is a digital identity protocol that proves you are real and unique while fully protecting your privacy. At least that's what they're claiming. Also, a lot of investment money has flown into projects on Ethereum. Flashbots, for example, which is a research firm focusing on MEV on Ethereum, and also Scroll and Risk Zero, which are ZK Rollup and ZK VMs on Ethereum. Also Eigenlayer, which is a restaking primitive on Ethereum and basically a shared security layer. Now, if we talk about specific niches in general, besides obviously the big ones, DeFi, NFTs, and infrastructure in general, we can also see that a lot of money has flown into GameFi and metaverse projects. For example, Futureverse, CCP games, and mythical games have received a lot of funding. This means that big VCs actually believe that GameFi is going to have a revival and will be a big trend potentially in the next bull run. Besides that, we also have AI, artificial intelligence, and AI infrastructure that is a very, very hot topic amongst VCs. For example, Character.ai, but also Jensen have received a lot of investment. And also, if you have been looking at the markets over the past few months, you notice that coins like Akash network, which is actually Cosmos based, but also deals with AI and AI infrastructure, they have pulled a clean 6 or 7x from the lows. Same for Fetch AI. Fed also had a little bit of a pump. And this is why the overall niche and category of AI is very, very hot right now. Before you continue watching, thank you so much for subscribing to this YouTube channel. It really means a lot. Like this video, also share it with some of your friends. Also share this video on Twitter if you appreciate that type of content, if you find value in it. And now please enjoy the rest of the video. Now, if we look at the top 3 Cosmos projects that have received the most amount of VC money and investment, we can see that Berachain is actually leading the pack here. Berachain is a fully EVM compatible blockchain. They innovated Polaris that is built on the Cosmos SDK and also uses a new consensus protocol called Proof of Liquidity. They also have a tree token model. And if you want to learn more, also watch one of my previous videos where I compared Berachain to Kava and evmos as kind of these EVM chains in Cosmos and how they differentiate. Berachain actually raised $42 million in April from VCs and also from Cosmos OGs such as Zaki Manian. The second one is actually Say Network, that is a layer 1 blockchain built for trading applications. They raised $30 million in April of this year and just launched their mainnet. You can also check out my previous video that I made 2 weeks ago about Say Network, how it works and the whole backstory. And also I'm an angel investor into Say Network, and also with Cryptocito we're running a validator. The third project is actually Anoma. And Anoma is an intent-centric, privacy-preserving protocol that just closed a $25 million funding round in May. And Anoma is actually going to bootstrap the first chain, the first layer 1 blockchain very, very soon that is called Namada. And with Cryptocito, we're also in the current testnet of Namada. So keep an eye on that. Now, if we talk generally about VCs in Cosmos, those two words don't really rhyme together, because the culture in Cosmos is really more bottom-up. It's very community-driven. You have chains like Juno, for example, that raised with 0 VC money. You have chains like Sommelier or Osmosis that did a reverse fundraiser after it was a mainnet, after it had basically the first applications launching on them. And overall, I think people in Cosmos just don't really like VCs, at least on paper. My personal opinion is that VCs are not evil. VCs have a lot of resources, not just monetary resources, but they have networks, they have experience, they can guide, they can also make introductions and even upstream development or provide feedback on the code, which is extremely valuable for the success and the longevity of a crypto project. Also, I think it's very important to understand really that VCs are usually taking on the highest risk because they're backing these projects at the earliest stages, which basically means that they're investing at a time where it's not even sure if that thing is ever going to launch. Yes, they do get better deals, but also they're taking on the highest risk. And also in most of these cases, investment deals either have hard lockups for 1 or even 2 years and long vesting schedules, which means that their investment is illiquid for many, many years before they can actually liquidate or take some of the profits. If we look at the 2 most active VCs in Cosmos, we currently have Figment Capital with 20 investments and Polychain Capital with 13 investments. Figment, in fact, is a Web3 infrastructure provider and validates on many Cosmos chains. If we look at their portfolio, we can also see some names that have been around now for quite some time. for example, Celestia. Celestia is a pioneer when it comes to building modular blockchains. Also in the privacy space, Anoma, I just mentioned, but also Penumbra and NIM. Also, we have Polymer that is basically trying to bring IBC everywhere. And also Saga, which I'm also an angel investor in, which is basically going to be the gaming hub in Cosmos that also implements parallel execution. So it's super fast and also shared security. Polychain Capital is more of a traditional VC that approximately has $2.6 billion in assets under management. And similar to Figment, they also invested in Celestia, Anoma, and NIM. Besides that, Polychain was also lead investor at Barachain. If we now look at some of the best funded Cosmos chains that are already in production, we can start with DYDX. DYDX, obviously a perpetual exchange that started on Ethereum, then migrated to an Ethereum L2, and now is going to launch their Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain within the next couple months. They raised over $87 million from top tier investors like A16Z, Polychain, or Paradigm. And as of right now, they're in public testnet. In fact, with Cryptocito, we're also part of that. And hopefully we're also going to be in the Genesis, and they're going to launch very soon. The second one might actually surprise you, which is Fetch AI. And Fetch is a blockchain that lets you use AI to automate your tasks. And so far, they've raised $75.9 million over 5 funding rounds. Also, we're running a validator on Fetch. So with Cryptocito, you can also delegate your coins to us. Much appreciated. The third project is actually Axelar. Axelar is an interoperability protocol that has raised $64 million. I've done a lot of interviews with Sergey here on this channel over the past years, and I've actually also been an angel investor into Axelar. Axelar's transfer volume actually surpassed the one from Stargate in August. Now, what's the conclusion for the market and what's the conclusion for you? Right now, we're in a very dry phase of the market, which means a lot less fresh capital is actually coming into funding projects. So this is a really hard environment for crypto entrepreneurs to start their projects, to start their idea, to build teams, to hire developers, because you can just see that funding has been going down a lot. On the other hand, this also means that VCs have a much more stricter due diligence process. So the projects that actually manage to receive funding during this market, at least on paper, are supposed to be much more vetted and much more analyzed by their VCs before they received any money. What does this mean for you? For you, this means to keep an eye on the projects that I just mentioned, right? Anoma, Barachain, Celestia, those that are coming up, and also position yourself for when these coins hit the market. What type of valuations do they have? What type of valuations did the investors have? To also get a better feeling of whether you're buying at a good price or whether this coin is severely overpriced. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and be good.